Hello, online crew, and welcome to today's live. It is your online crew captain here, Helen Martin. If we haven't met before, I help home-based business owners, social sellers, network marketers, those in the online space, build with modern social media strategies in a really authentic way. So my motto is to be a human before a marketer. If that's what you stand for, then you are in the right place. But if you're not aware, my first live video of the week, I talk about something to do with personal growth, personal development, something to help you think about the person that you are, the person that you need to be worthy of a six-figure income, those kind of things. So that is what today is all about. And I just want to share something with you that I've been going through the last week and how I've handled it, because I think it might help you guys. Some of you may feel constantly like I've just felt in the last week. So I put a stop to it yesterday. And so I just want to share with you when I've got overwhelmed and I feel like, it's a bit uncontrollable, how I handled that, because it might, some of the things that I share with you just might help you. So how many of you have felt in the past levels of overwhelm, particularly with building your business on social media? I hear a lot, I'm over social media. Social media is exhausting. I don't know what to post. I don't know when to post. I just don't have the creativity. I don't leave my home. I don't do much. Therefore, how do I share? Like all those kind of things. Like there's a lot of barriers to people building their business online because the effort it takes. Like, be honest with me, how many of you have felt that kind of overwhelm when it comes to building your business online? Or just life in general? Are you somebody that has a lot going on between family? You may have kids, or you may have grandkids, or you may have an elderly parent you're looking after, all of that kind of stuff. And or you might even have a job as well as building your business online, and you get very overwhelmed with juggling it all. Does that ring true to anybody? So let me know if you kind of felt that kind of overwhelm. And what comes with overwhelm is disorganization. And then what comes with that is the stuff that goes up here which ends up being quite negative. It stops you in your tracks. You end up thinking a lot about the things that you should do, and then you don't do them. Then you think a lot about the things that you haven't done, and you're just having a mental war in your own head, and nothing's actually happening out here. Like, you're not actually posting anything. Your business isn't growing, but there's a lot going on up in your head. Who can relate to that? Okay. I'm just going to say hello if you're on live with me, please say hello. Let me know you're here. Some quick hellos. We've got Beth. Hello, Beth. Hello, Olive. Hello, Cherie. How are you? I have family stresses. So, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. Cherie, so true. Helen, are you talking to me? Definitely have felt overwhelmed and do nothing can relate. So if you can relate to it, I want to share with you sort of what's happened with me in the last week. I am my own worst enemy with my own calendar. I load myself up and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I can do this and I can do that. And I load it all into 1 month. It happened around about September or October last year. I did the same thing. So I've done that in March. I've loaded everything up, a brand new boot camp for you guys, TikTok boot camp at the end of the month. And I don't think you have any idea how much work it takes to put one of those things together from scratch. And my VIP program, and we're selling my dad's house and the kids, and my son turned 16 yesterday. He's driving now. He can drive now. Like, between personal and business, I've loaded so much into March that even for me, misorganized, and I'm highly organized and I'm highly motivated as well. Not total, but a lot of overwhelm, to the point that over the weekend, I was waking up in the middle of the night thinking about how the hell I'm going to get all of this done. How am I going to do this? I pretty much spend my days doing trainings and calls. And so there's not a lot of time, and messaging. So there's not a lot of time for me to get my work done that I need to. Okay, that's irrelevant. What I've got going on in my life is totally irrelevant. We don't need to worry about those details. I just want to sort of make a point around this. I got to the stage where I was waking up in the middle of the night, absolutely stressing and feeling overwhelmed about how I'm going to get through this month. Okay. And how I'm going to achieve everything by the deadlines that I set myself. So there's a lesson there. Sometimes I try to overachieve and I can't keep up with my own brain and I can't keep up with my own schedule. So you go a few nights like this, and I drum this into you guys, and I hope you're listening, because this is something I've learnt to do very well and why I keep talking to you about it. When you feel like that, you get like that, you need to recognize it and pivot quickly. Some of you are stuck in these patterns of overwhelm, stress, not achieving, you're in your own head, and you're still stuck there. I will not allow myself to do that, and neither should you. So if you are stuck in your own head, you are making a choice, and it's not a healthy one. Okay? So just keeping it real with that. If you are still stuck, you're not achieving, you're still dealing with the same stresses, your business isn't moving, there's not much changing, and it's not really positive, that's your own fault. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but here's the outcome. And I'll get to what I did in a second, but here's the outcome. Nothing is changed as far as my calendar goes for March. Nothing since yesterday. Okay, I've still got just as amount of work on, just as many calls, just as many things to organize, just as many things to work out. But I'm in a totally different place than yesterday. So what's changed? Me. Okay, your environment may not change. The same things might still be happening around you, but how you handle it, totally up to you. And if you're not happy with what's going on, if you're not progressing as much as you want to, why am I pointing at you? Sorry. It's transformational for me within like pivoting. So I just really want to talk about this to encourage you guys. You've got to look in the mirror and pivot. You've got to work out what you need to do to pivot if you don't like where you are. So yesterday I was like, and mind you, it's my son's 16th birthday yesterday. So in the middle of his kind of birthday celebrations, I'm like, I have to sort this shit out today. I just have to get back in control. I can't go into this week. It was a public holiday here yesterday. Lucky for my son. He played golf all day, loved it for his birthday. I have to get back in control. So it's like, okay, enough is enough. And I sat down. So first things first, you have to sit down and give yourself some space to think. Some of you that are on autopilot, you're doing the same things in and out every day, and you're not allowing yourself the space to think about solutions. So I had to sit down yesterday and think about solutions. Okay. The way I organize myself is I write lists. Is anyone else a list person? And my lifeline, if I ever lose my phone, I'm stuffed. Excuse me. But my lifeline is the notes section of my phone. How many of you use the notes section of your phone to write notes in? I've got so many notes in there. It's on my phone on Instagram, so I can't look at it now. I reckon I've got over 200 notes on my phone. So this is something that I do. So here's strategy number 1. When you think about something you need to do, get it out of your head and onto something. It could be a piece of paper. For me, it's the notes in my phone. Okay. So every time I think, I've got to, even personal life, I've got to pay that bill. I've got to do that for the kids. I've got to apply for Zach's passport. I've got to do this, or I've got to return that message, or I've got to send that information to that person, or I've got to put a reminder for that Zoom call, whatever. All of it gets out of my head and into my notes. So that's a good thing. So I'm not scattered up here. I've got to let it go. So I don't know what your systems are, but you've got to get out of your head and onto something. So for me, it's the notes section in my phone. But here's what happens with that. Your list gets very long. How many of you have got a very overwhelming long list of things that you want to achieve or need to achieve in the near future? For me, because I've got so much going on in March, that list is just ridiculous. So I keep adding to the list of all the little things. If I don't write it down, it's gone because I've got too many things to think about in any one day. I'm talking to too many people. There's so much going on. If I don't get it out of my brain and into my notes, it gets forgotten about really quickly. So the list ends up being this long. That causes overwhelm. So every time I go to my notes section, which could be multiple times a day, the list is getting longer and longer and longer and longer, and that causes overwhelm. So I'm like, okay, and this is what I recommend you do. One, you've got to get what's troubling you or the things that you need to do, you need to do. You have to get them out of your head and into something. Is it a calendar? Is it the notes section of your phone? Is it a piece of paper? Work out what works for you. So that's number one. Step two is what I did. And I did this because I didn't have time to go back to the system that I know works for me, and I've let it go. And for me, those of you that are familiar with it, I generally use a Trello board because it's compatible with my computer and my phone, and I've got a personal one, and I can drag and drop all the things. I can just quickly type it in, and I can drag to Tuesday, or I didn't get done to Tuesday, drag it to Wednesday, whatever. I didn't even have enough time yesterday to go and copy everything from the notes section of my phone and put it over in Trello board to reorganize it. So all I did in the notes section of my phone is just put headings: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I copied and I pasted in the right day. So after I'd done that, I'd got some organization and some prioritization. What absolutely needs to be done today, and what can I get out of my head and leave till tomorrow, or leave till Wednesday, or leave till Thursday. So you need to get out of your head all the things that you want to do, you know you want to achieve, but you're not doing, or whatever, or you actually have to do, and get them down on a list. I'm not saying my way is the way. I'm just sharing with you what I did to get back in control. Then I had to go and prioritize all the things. What absolutely needs to be done today. So by the time that I'd gone to bed last night, everything had been ticked off that list for that day. Now, here's the reality. And this is sometimes where you need to push yourself and you have to do things that you don't want to do. So my son's birthday, they came back from golf. We went out to dinner last night. I still had quite a few things on my list for yesterday that I needed to get done, even just bills to pay and, things like that. So we get back from dinner. I assessed the situation within the family. So Zach went to his bedroom. Ollie went to his bedroom. Paul started watching something that I actually didn't want to watch on the TV. So I just communicated. You have to communicate with your family if you're going to work when it's kind of family time. And I said to Paul, I've got some things I need to finish off. I'm just going to go into the office for a bit. Is that okay with you? Yeah, no worries. So communication is key here. I worked solidly last night after dinner, before I went to bed, for 3 hours and knocked everything and more off my list. And so this morning I'm feeling back in control again. I got all those things knocked off. So they're off the list. And yeah, did I make a sacrifice? Yep. Did I do some work after we got back from dinner? Yep. But I needed to get back in control. So here's the message to you. What do you have to do that you don't really want to do to get yourself back in control? And how quickly or not are you pivoting? Because if you're not where you want to be, you need to make a conscious decision to pivot and to get back in control. Now, my situation is no different. I'm still as flat out. I've got all the responsibilities and everything that I scheduled in March. That situation is the same today as it is yesterday. What's different? Why do I feel completely back in control and slept like a baby last night? Because of what I did here. Your success of your business is not the social media stuff. Yeah, it'll help. But it's you. It's how long you're allowing yourself to be stuck in your own crap. It's how long you allow yourself to be stuck in being unorganized or overwhelmed or pushing your business aside because you don't feel like doing it. We all have to do things we don't want to do. Where's your priorities? What do you need to achieve? So I've completely shifted my overwhelm in a relatively short space of time because, one, I sat in it for close to a week, which is a long time for me. And then I went, no. This is not happening anymore. You're not sleeping now. Like you're not in control of everything you've got to do. Looked at my to-do list and it was just a hell of a long list, which just overwhelms me even more. So it's like, okay, I still need to do all of these things, but I need to prioritize them in today. No, that can wait. That has to wait till Thursday because I don't have time tomorrow. I'm on calls all day, whatever. But you get some organization into when you do things so you feel back in control. And then like getting those things done, even if you don't want to do them, just get them done. Stop making excuses. Stop doing the dishes or putting the washing on or turning on the TV or those kind of things. It's not going to help you get where you want to go. So I want to just highlight again, nothing has changed for my calendar for March. Nothing has changed with my list of to-do things. But I feel back in control and I'm not overwhelmed anymore because I've got everything. And I will, when I've got a little bit more time to breathe, I will go back and reorganize my Trello board so I can just drag and drop because it's just such a beautiful, easy system to make. If you're in the coaching community, I've actually got a template Trello board that I created for you guys that you could use that. Everybody's got their different way. My Google Calendar is also my diary. I know what calls and what trainings, and I will turn up regardless. But some of you might look at me and think I'm totally in control, and sometimes I'm not. And I schedule way too many things to help you guys and help my team. And I've got all these creative things of how I want to help my network marketing team and all these things I want to do. All that creates a shitload of work for me. And I've crammed it all in 1 month. Yay, Helen. But it's okay. And none of that's changed. But I feel back in control again. So maybe up to a week, I've allowed myself to, just get a little bit not panicky, but just, man, how am I going to do this and what? Because when you get like that, when you get overwhelmed, the thoughts go negative. How am I going to do this? I don't have enough time. Blah blah blah. That's what happens when you get overwhelmed. Negative, 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 negative. I don't know how am I going to do all these things? Overwhelm does you nothing for you mentally. Okay? So you've got to pivot and sit down with yourself and give yourself some time and space to go, okay, how do I reorganize all this? What are my priorities? When I'm going to do it by, whatever. The other thing I had to do is to immediately, I know when I get like this and I get a little bit overwhelmed, it's like, how the hell am I going to do all this month and blah, 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 blah. It starts negative thoughts. Negative thoughts don't serve anybody. So I know my trigger, my pivot then is immediately to start some new affirmations. So I've done that. I've written 5. They're quite targeted at the moment with what I'm dealing with at the moment. Your affirmations should change relative to what you're dealing with in the moment. Otherwise, they don't mean anything. So I've got 5 new affirmations. I recorded them in my Instagram on my phone. So I'm on my phone on Instagram up here. And are you guys familiar with voice memo? It's a feature on your phones that's called voice memo. So I just hit the record button. I spoke them out and I can replay those affirmations back to me multiple times a day if I want to, just before I go to bed, because that's the last thing I'm thinking about. So there's 5 things that are really important to me that I'm repeating to myself over and over and over again to make sure I'm on a positive positive angle and not getting overwhelmed, because overwhelm will only lead to negative thoughts. So you got to shift it. So I'm like, change the language, change the language, change the language. I am this, I want that, I'm going to achieve this. I'm affirmations. I've got to change the thoughts in my head from overwhelm to focusing on what I actually want to achieve and how I'm going to achieve it. Because what you focus on, you'll get more of. If you sit in overwhelm, you'll get more overwhelm. If you sit in overwhelm, you'll get more negative thoughts. If you don't pivot quickly enough, you're going to stay stuck. You will stay stuck. So one of the best things I learned from mentorship was to, when you're stuck, pivot and pivot quickly. And that's what I've done in the last, 24 hours or so. I don't know if that's helpful to any of you, but it's overwhelm is real. Stress is real. Your fears are real. Your business is real. But it's not the external factors that should be controlling you. My external factors are exactly the same. What I've taken control of is my own heads, my own thoughts, my own organization, the way that I do things. So I've taken my control back. Okay. So how many of you know that you need to do a bit of this yourself? Just learn to pivot quickly, guys. One of the other questions, and I've shared this with you guys over and over and over again. One of the things when things are happening, I constantly ask myself, write this down, write this question down. This should be embedded in your head. 2 things: pivot quickly. That's one thing. The second thing is a question: what do I need to learn from this? Whenever any crap is going down, you're overwhelmed, you know, all that kind of stuff, ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this? I ask myself that all the time. I don't sit in it. If I sit in my own overwhelm, if I sit in my own negative thoughts, my fault. I refuse to do that. So I pivot quickly and I ask, what do I need to learn from this? Okay, and what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So that's what I did yesterday, even amongst my son's 16th birthday. Before it, after it, you know, all the rest of it. You guys are so much more in control than you think you are. So take your control back, guys, and go after what you want. Okay? Okay, just going to check a couple of comments. I've talked long enough. Sounds like me. Hello, Tina. Hello, Hero. Great to see you on. Thank you. I needed that. I have lists for lists, and also in my notes section. So Beth has a whiteboard, a day timer, a notes section, and a little notepad. I do, my list is long. So go and work out your list. Go and segregate that list. Cherie, long lists do you no favors. You just take one look at it and go, crap, I've got a hell of a lot to do and I don't have enough time. That's what long lists do. Yes, Laurie, pivot, pivot, pivot. Whiteboard. So Laurie's got a new whiteboard, desk calendar. Oh, a new whiteboard and a new desk calendar and a Google Calendar for my time blocking. Not new. Yeah, my Google Calendar is set. Like I know what training, what calls I'm on, Zooms. Like I'll turn up and be exactly where I need to be. It's not that is my problem. It's everything else I need to do when I'm not on calls. So that's my issue. That's, you know, unique to me. We've all got our own issues. Hey, Ed, how you doing? Very helpful. Good to know. Every cell in our bodies is eavesdropping on our conversation we're having with our heads. They will oblige and give you what they want to hear. And I will say this over and over and over again until you absolutely get it. And I know when you get it because then people repeat it back to me and it's like, yes, they've got it. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. Your brain will talk you out of hard things because that's not what your brain is designed to do. So if something's a little bit hard, if something's a little bit awkward, if you've got fears around something, your brain will say, it's okay, do it tomorrow. It's okay, do it next week. Go and do the washing. Go and do the cooking. Go and scroll social media. That's what your brain is designed to do. It's doing its job by telling you it's okay. You have to have much more control than that. And go, thank you, brain, for keeping me safe, but I want more out of life and I want to take my control back. So I'm going to go and, you know, do something that's uncomfortable because I know that's what I need to do. Like, take that control back, guys. Cherie, my blood pressure is going up. Is your blood pressure going up by listening to me or just in general? I hope it's not listening to me, Cherie. I have to take control. I'm sure you mean in general. I have to take control and pivot. Yes. If you know things are wrong, is your business isn't growing, you don't feel amazing, your health is crap, your blood pressure's rising, like Cherie said, you have to pivot. Make decisions, pivot, and take your control back. Okay? So, no, in general. Thanks for clarifying, Cherie. So I just wanted to share that with you because that's where I'm at and that's what I've done. And I feel totally different today than I did, you know, pretty much in the last week. So if that's helpful to you guys in any way, great. Just pivot, okay, and ask yourself the question, what do I need to learn from this? And just move quicker through your own crap. Said with the utmost love, guys. You know the place I come from. I share these topics in hopes that it'll help you think about these kind of things. Okay, so that's it from me. I'll get off my high horse now. Clubhouse tomorrow. We're talking about you know, how, you know, we need a helping hand sometimes in our business by other people that have achieved more than us. Like, come and have a listen to that discussion tomorrow. If you're in my coaching community, we're doing part 2 of stories, creative and innovative way to create stories. Last week I did how to share your products in stories. This week we're doing the business opportunity side of it. So don't miss that if you're a coaching community member. And I've got 2 other really great topics for my live videos this week, later in the week. So make sure you join me live. And oh, sorry, I forgot to recognize if you're in the US or Canada, you are watching my live an hour later than what you normally would. So thank you for coming and finding me. I'm sure there's some people that haven't realized that yet. And just be warned, the UK changed their clocks at the end of this month, and Australia changed their clocks on the first weekend of April. So there's going to be more time changes. Just if you go to helenmartinonline.com/events, we've updated the timetable for this week. We'll update it for next week and the coming week. So if you get a little bit lost, just go to helenmartinonline.com/events, and everything that I do and all the times that are on are hopefully updated correctly on that link. Okay, we update that link every Monday. Thanks for joining me, guys. Hope that was helpful. Bye. Bye, Instagram. Oh, thanks, Olive. I didn't end the broadcast. I'm just doing the description in Instagram, and I just saw a message from Olive pop up saying I'm still live. So the end didn't actually end. So you're all just watching me grab my phone. So perhaps I'll end now. Thanks, guys. See ya.